Words do help people get involved. Words do help members of Congress get into power so that they can be part of a coalition to deliver health care reform, to deliver a bold energy policy. Yeah, don't discount that power, because when the American people are determined that something is going to happen, then it happens. And if they are disaffected and cynical and fearful and told that it can't be done, then it doesn't. I'm running for president because I want to tell them, yes, we can. And that's why I think they're responding in such large numbers.
But Ian, this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and would blow your head clean off. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you,
I've got Mr. Obama sitting here, and I just was going to ask him a couple questions. But, you know, I remember 3.5 years ago when Mr. Obama won the election. And though I wasn't a big supporter, I was watching that night when he was having that thing, and they were talking about hope and change, and they were talking about yes, we can, and it was dark, and it was outdoors, and it was nice, and people were lighting candles, and they were saying, you know, and I just thought, this is great. I mean, everybody's crying. Oprah was crying. And I was even crying. And then finally, I haven't cried that hard since I found out that there's 23 million unemployed people in this country. And now that is something to cry for, because that is a disgrace, a national disgrace, and we haven't done enough, obviously. This administration hasn't done enough to cure that. Whatever interest they have.
Isn't that cool?
Is not strong enough. And I think possibly now it may be time for somebody else to come along and solve the problem.
Is this a great show or what?
So, Mr. President, how do you handle promises that you made when you were running for election, and how do you handle it? I mean, what do you say to people? Do you just, you know, I know people were wondering.
I don't think you or anybody who's been watching me campaign would suggest that in any way, you know, we have, you know, tried to divide the country.
You don't have it. Okay. Well, I know even some of the people in your own party were very disappointed when you didn't close Gitmo. And I thought, well, I think closing Gitmo, why close that? We've spent so much money on it.
These are the folks whose policies helped devastate our middle class. They drove our economy into a ditch.
What do you mean, shut up? Okay. I thought it was just because somebody had a stupid idea of trying terrorists in downtown New York City. Maybe that was it.
I'm itching for a fight.
I've got to hand it to you. I've got to give credit where credit's due.
You didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
You did overrule that finally. I know you were against the war in Iraq, and that's okay. But you thought the war in Afghanistan was okay. You know, I mean, you thought that was something that was worth doing. We didn't check with the Russians to see how they did there for the 10 years.
We don't mind the Republicans joining us. They can come for the ride, but they got to sit in back.
You mentioned something about having a target date for bringing everybody home. And I think Mr. Romney asked the only sensible question. And he says, why are you giving the date out now? Why don't you just bring them home tomorrow morning? And I thought, yeah, I'm not going to shut up.
We're going to punish our enemies, and we're going to reward our friends.
So anyway, we're going to have to have a little chat about that. And then I just wondered all these promises, and then I wondered about you know, when what do you want me to tell Romney? I can't tell him to do that. Can't do that to himself. You're crazy.
Governor Romney obviously has got more friends than I do.
You're absolutely crazy. You're getting as bad as Biden.
Unchain Wall Street.
Of course, we all know Biden is the intellect of the Democratic Party.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
Just a kind of a grin with a body behind it, you know. It's just kind of a thing. But I just think that there's so much to be done, and I think that Mr. Romney and Mr. Ryan are two guys that can come along. I never thought that it was a good idea for attorneys to be president anyway, because it. I think attorneys are so busy, you know, they're always taught to argue everything and always weigh everything and weigh both sides, and they're always, they're always devil's advocating this and bifurcating this and bifurcating that, you know, all that stuff. But I think it's maybe time, what do you think, for maybe a businessman? How about that? A stellar businessman, quote unquote, a stellar businessman. And I think it's that time. And I think if you just kind of stepped aside and Mr. Romney can kind of take over, you could still use the plane. Though maybe a smaller one, not that big gas guzzler that you're driving around when you're going around to colleges and talking about student loans and stuff like that. I think you're an ecological man. Why would you want to drive that truck around? Okay. Well, anyway. All right. I'm sorry. I can't do that to myself either. So, anyway. I'll see. But I'd just like to say something, ladies and gentlemen. Something that I think is very important is that we own this country.
Barack has led by example. When we took our trip to Africa and visited his home country in Kenya.
Lots of ups, lots of downs, except for my approval ratings, which have just gone down. But that's politics. It doesn't bother me. Besides, I happen to know that my approval ratings are still very high in the country of my birth.
Yes, we own it. And it's not you owning it and not politicians owning it. Politicians are employees of ours. And so they're just going to come around and beg for votes every few years, and it's the same old deal. But I just think that it's important that you realize that you're the best in the world. And whether you're Democrat or whether you're a Republican or whether you're libertarian or whatever, you're the best, and we should not ever forget that. And when somebody does not do the job, we got to let them go. Okay. Yes. Okay, just remember that. And I'm speaking out for everybody out there. It doesn't hurt. We don't have to be... I don't say that word anymore. Well, maybe one last time. We don't have to be, what I'm saying is we don't have to be mental masochists and vote for somebody that we don't even really want in office. Just because they seem to be nice guys, or maybe not so nice guys if you look at some of the recent ads going out there, I don't know. But okay, you ought to make my day. Huh? All right. All right. I'll start it. You finish it. Go ahead. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.